morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe, this August 1st, 2021. Let's take a deep breath together. Breathe in and exhale, relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, letting all the stuff you're holding in your head, just let it go. Letting your thoughts pass through without attachment. Letting go of all the things you may have planned for the rest of the day or the upcoming week. Start to open your heart and your mind so that we are as receptive as possible to what we will experience together today. We give thanks for community, for the support of friends and spiritual family. We give thanks for technology that allows us to broadcast this service and this experience to anyone who wants to listen. We know and affirm our oneness in this moment, knowing that it doesn't matter where we may be located, that we are all one, inextricably connected to one another. We are one mind, one heart, one body, one love. One peace. The peace that comes from and is fueled by the Creator. The same force and energy that animates us, nourishes us. Provides for our every need. That gives us the world at our fingertips. That has given us dominion over our little universe, our individual lives. We have the freedom to choose, to love and to be, to express ourselves. To share our gifts with the world, our unique gifts that no one else can share exactly like we do. So we continue to breathe, continue to get centered, to drop down a little bit more deeply into our heart space. Approaching each moment with beginner's mind. And so in this energy of peace and love and joy and gratitude, we sing together our centering song, Spirit's Prayer.
Good morning. I tell you what, wow, I cannot believe it. I see so many beautiful faces here. I'm telling you, just a great blessing it is. So why don't y'all join me today so we can bless all these beautiful little children that we have in this world. Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you. And today's inspirational moment is from Tracy Brown. I turn to prayer, and the word is wealth. I believe in the unlimited nature of the universe. There is no limit to any energy of God, including the energy known as money, the energy known as safety and security, the energy known as joy, and the energy known as freedom. I am the physical manifestation of an idea that began in the mind of God, and I am completely connected with all energies of God. So I am happy and grateful to receive a steady and never-ending flow of money from expected and unexpected sources. My financial wealth allows me to live a life of joy and generosity. I am a ready and willing vessel. I am a ready and willing vessel of wealth, accepting my riches and sharing my excess with people and programs that align with my passion. I am grateful for the opportunity to experience financial freedom and to express love by funding those who need my support. I am grateful to live in an unlimited universe funded by the divine source of all things good. So if you guys will repeat with me 3 times, please. I am a ready and willing vessel of wealth. I am a ready and willing vessel of wealth. I am a ready and willing vessel of wealth. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love seeing y'all here.
In my life, I have seen too many hearts breaking in the streets where we live. There is goodness, and then there is evil. to hear you. Oh, I need to find the highest ground. I'm falling through. My head is almost out of view. Ah, ooh. If you have peace of mind, throw it, it's a lifeline. If you have peace of mind, show it, it's a lifeline. If you have peace of mind, grow it, it's a lifeline. If you have peace of mind, know it, it's the lifeline.
Thank you, sir. I grew up in a family that was very much anchored in a philosophy of hard work. That came from generations through to my parents' generation, then instilled in me. So we all had chores growing up. We all had to do our bit to contribute to the household. We were all expected to go to college, and we did. Then we were all expected to get good jobs, and you stay in those jobs, and you stay in it for 30, 40 years, and then you retire modestly, and you sit in a lawn chair, and maybe you go fishing, and and enjoy the quiet life, and then you can have some leisure time. But most of my relatives, really didn't retire and do the lawn chair thing. They either got another job, they had a retirement job, and they worked that for a while, and it's just something you could do because you wanted to, and plus, all we knew was to work, because that's what we always did. Everything was about doing the work. Even our emotional lives was about work, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Just get it together. And if you're feeling something, then it's not about dealing with those feelings and letting yourself be in those feelings and venting those feelings. It's about go do something and it'll take care of itself. So everything really was about work. It really was. And you worked for everything that you had. And there wasn't anything you were going to get if you didn't work for it. It was just all about the work. And you don't leave one job until you have another job. So it's not like you could take off a year and just find yourself. That was unheard of in my family. You just didn't do things like that. You find yourself where you're working and what do you need to find yourself for anyway? What is that about? Really? So when I became acquainted with and started reading about what I later knew were similar to New Thought and Unity principles, and learned about allowing and having and consciousness and things like that, if I could have raised a single eyebrow, I would have. Some people can just do that. Eyebrow goes up. If I could do that, my eyebrow would have gone up. All that was just so woo-woo to me. And I kind of, the jury was still out. Some of it I read, and I would think, my father would always say when he thought something was weird or he was, kind of being judgy about it, he would say, well, that's interesting. And he would say each syllable, just like that. And you would know, you're thinking, oh, okay, he doesn't really like that, but he's trying to make it seem like he's open. So when I started reading about consciousness and other things and allowing things to come into our life, that was my thought. Well, that's interesting. Right. What is this about? Allowing things to have consciousness around, especially money, because money was something you were supposed to go get. It was something your employer gave you in exchange for your hours and your toil, your brain work, whatever it is that you did. And in my family, there was no work that you had to be ashamed of. It didn't matter. I was always taught, even if you are the one who was hired to sweep the floors, you be the best floor sweeper they've ever seen and ever had. All work was valuable and was something to be proud of. And we were always supposed to be employees that our employers would love. And so I did that. Every job I left, they would always say, if you ever want to come back, you call me. You have a place here. Always. And so I was always proud of being productive and being able to work hard. And that was part of who I was. Because my family told me that that's who I was, that you were your work. You were what you produce. So this whole allowing thing was, who am I if I'm not working for something, and if I'm not out there toiling, if I'm not being productive in every hour? Who am I then? So it was kind of hard to wrap my mind around that. And especially when it came to finances, because work equals pay, equals money, equals that's my life, and that's my lifestyle. And whatever job you had determined what you're able to do with your life. And then I started reading that if you opened your mind and you allowed this source, this beneficent energy, to flood into your life all that you were willing to say yes to, that absolutely you could have whatever you dreamed of. And even though part of me was saying, well, that's interesting, there's another part of me that said, what if that works? I was reading books where people were saying they were doing that, changing their consciousness around money, that money was energy. I knew it as paper and coins. But money and the value we give it is a construct. We've decided. Humans decided what the little piece of paper and what the different faces on it meant and how much value each one had. What's 25 cents, 15 cents, 10 cents, a penny? What is that? And so when I had to shift my consciousness about money, it was pretty weird for me. But I was willing to be open because I kept hearing testimonies from people who were getting results, positive, exciting results, and changing their lives when they changed their consciousness. And I'm always one to test something. And I figure, if they can do it, and what I'm reading is saying that I have the same power, what will happen if I do it? And then I started reading about tithing. And then I was really like in a, just had something stuck in my craw about that. I only have but so much money. Now you want 10%? Off the top? Really? Because I grew up in a faith where you just kind of gave something. They didn't talk about money unless it was about giving money to the poor. And every year, I think it was in October, we were given the little boxes that you would put together. They were flat, and you would shape them into a box, and they had a little coin slot, and you would put money in there every week, and it was money for the poor. And all we ever heard about in church was that money was the root of evil. And that the more you had, the less chance you had of getting into heaven. Why would I want to do that? It's enough that I had to think about sin and ticking off that list every week and going to confession and how far am I from being able to get to the pearly gates and being let in. But now I got to worry about just how much money do I have, and is that going to make it even harder to get in? Yeah, it all started to sound crazy to me. And somehow this other stuff about consciousness started to kind of resonate. And it felt freeing, and I started to test it out. And it started to work. And somehow my lifestyle expanded. And things that I never thought I would have, I started to manifest. And I started to realize that some of the things I had always dreamed of, because I was dreaming of things when I was a little girl, of homes that I would like to live in, a lifestyle I would like to have that nobody in my family had, certainly not my parents. You know, my father was a teacher for many years. My mother was a crossing guard at some point after we were all able school age. So there wasn't a lot of money coming in, and all three of us were going to Catholic school, so there was tuition and uniforms. You know, my parents didn't drive nice cars. We didn't go on expensive vacations. You know, we went to go see Grandma in Illinois in the summer or at Thanksgiving. Or maybe when I lived in New Jersey, I grew up there in the Northeast, so maybe we would drive to Connecticut for a couple of days. And that was huge for us to be able to do that. That was our luxury vacation. So I was dreaming of things and reading like House Beautiful at a time when there was no House Beautiful. You know, I didn't grow up with expensive linens and bed skirts and high thread counts on my sheets. That wasn't happening. So where was these dreams that I have, where is that coming from? And I thought, how cruel is that I could have these dreams but not have them? And I started to read about consciousness and things that we come here, and if that is my dream, if that's something I was visualizing as a little girl, perhaps that is in my future and is my destiny if I'm willing to embrace it and say yes to it, rather than discount it because that's not what I saw in my physical world. And so I started doing something like cutting out pictures and putting them into books and looking at them on a regular basis and saying yes to that in my consciousness and in my mind and visualizing myself living in a way that my parents did not live. I also didn't have 3 kids in Catholic school, so that made a difference. But I started to work with this consciousness woo-woo stuff. And it did change things for me. It made all the difference. It freed me from having to attach my wealth consciousness to my paycheck. And I learned to stop saying things like, I can't afford that, because my parents said that a lot. We can't afford that. Well, that's nice, but we can't afford that. And if we did look at just my father's paycheck and my mother's paychecks, we could not. But they didn't know about consciousness. They didn't learn that. They grew up in a very different tradition. There was no talk of consciousness. I don't know that my parents ever talked about their dreams. If they had them, I don't know what they were. I don't know. And today I think that's sad. Their dreams may have been that my children will go to college and they'll have good lives and they'll be good citizens. And they'll have families and fall in love and be happy. That's probably what their dreams were. It wasn't the big house and the expensive vacations. It wasn't that at all. And yet, with unity principles, it says that all we have to do is claim what it is we want. Ask and you shall receive. Keep it in consciousness. Hold it. Decide what it is that you want, whether it's peace, love, joy, money, better job, bigger house, whatever it is that you want. Be grateful for it before it's even here in physical manifestation, and it shall be yours. That it can't do anything else other than that. It can't be something other than that. And if you're willing to hold it in your mind and visualize it and be able to feel what it would feel like to have it, and then act as if you have it already, walking through, steeped in gratitude that there it is. That whatever poverty there is in your life stems from a poverty consciousness. And so I stopped saying that I can't afford things. And I would reframe it. Or I'd ask a question. How can I afford that? How do I change my consciousness around that? And if I saw something that I wanted, but the bank account wasn't agreeing with that purchase, I would say to myself, I won't buy that today. Not today. But I left myself open. Willing to allow something to come in rather than having to work myself to the bone. I like Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics. He says the key to any condition of lack is spiritual principle. Poverty is not corrected by dollars, but by non-material substance. And substance, in this instance, we're talking about consciousness. The prospering element will always be non-material substance, and there can never be a shortage of this substance in the universe. That's universe with a capital U. Even within an apparent condition of indigence, the only lack in terms of the principle is the thought of lack. You are always as rich as you think you are, and the only poverty is of the mind. So you can begin to do something about your financial position in life by reshaping your attitudes about yourself, about money in general, and about your work or investments as the source of your money in particular. Remember, money is good. Money is God in action. Money is directly or indirectly involved in everything we do all day long. So it is imperative that we have a positive attitude about it. Appreciate it, bless it, keep open to its flow. Keep open to its flow. My family didn't talk about money and flow. You got paid, you paid your bills. You might have something left over. Then you got paid again, you paid more bills. You might have something left over. There's no flow. Charles Fillmore gives some important thoughts about handling money positively and creatively. He said, watch your thoughts when you're handling your money, because your money is attached through your mind to the one source of all substance and all money. When you think of your money, which is visible, as something directly attached to an invisible source that is giving or withholding according to your thoughts, you have the key to all riches and all lack. Never allow money of any kind or amount to pass through your hands without blessing it. First of all, I wasn't raised thinking you could bless anything. There was always a third party. There was a priest who blessed or did not bless. There was an intermediary for blessing. To think that I could bless something was new for me. And again, if I could raise my eyebrow, it would have gone up. To think that I have the capacity to bless something, that just kind of gave me goosebumps. And to know that I can bless whatever it is I want, and that in the blessing of it, it increases. And it opens the flow. There's that flow thing again, that woo-woo stuff. Blessing something. I'll read that again. Never allow money of any kind or amount to pass through your hands without blessing it, whether it is coming to you or going from you. To bless is an old-fashioned practice that needs to be rediscovered. The word means to confer prosperity or happiness upon. In other words, in handling money on any occasion, be sure to give it the imprint of positive attitudes. The money is a wonderful symbol of God's substance. Give thanks that it is continually pointing you toward the limitlessness of universal supply. Keep the awareness that it is currency. That's an important word, currency, a movement of the divine flow. When it comes to you, give thanks that it has flowed from the infinite through your job or investment. Not from the job, but from the infinite, with a capital I, through your job to you. When it goes from you, give thanks that there is no depletion, but actually an increase because you have kept it flowing. It was radical for me. And it may be for you too. And especially when we think about our income. I love that he says that this comes from, your income comes from the infinite through the job to you. The source is not your job or your Social Security check or your pension. That is not the source. It comes from the infinite into those venues.
Kim, one of my favorite sayings is, there's a lot more where this came from.
Yes, there's a lot more where this came from. Yes. So source is the infinite. So it's important that we start thinking about what we say about our money. I have a fixed income. Is that what you want to embrace? And yes, it may be that your pension or your Social Security is fixed, or your paycheck is fixed. But if the source is infinite, then anything is possible, and that can be just one of the sources of your income. But it'll always be your only source of income if that's all you say, and if that's all you're open to. And is that a huge shift? Yes, it took me years to stop thinking of my job as my source. Even when I started businesses, it was hard for me to stop thinking about my clients as the source. And it's hard, and it may be depending on what kind of faith tradition you grew up in, to think about money and God. Because money's supposed to be evil. The root of all evil. It's the love of money. That's the root of all evil. Attaching ourselves to something outside of source and saying that that is the most important thing in our lives. And living as if that's the most important thing in our lives. That you live to work. That you live to work. Seek first the kingdom, and all things will be added unto you. Mind, body, spirit, and heart, immersed in that infinite and claiming that that infinite is the source for you. And then doors can open. And it's interesting then, and I thought, okay, now I guess I'll tackle this tithing thing, because they were starting to talk about that at the First Unity Church I was going to. And I thought, I can't afford to tithe. I don't have 10% to give. But I took a class, it's called 4T. A prosperity class. And one of the things you had to do was tithe. And I thought, oh God, I just was gritting my teeth going into this. But you had to do that. It was a condition of taking the class. So I did it. And money started coming from places I could not have imagined. In fact, at one point during that class, I was getting a letter from an insurance company saying to contact them because I'd terminated this policy, and I had forgotten that attached to the policy was stock. And so at some point, I had been throwing away these letters for like a year and a half. Thinking, I don't have that insurance anymore. Why are they still sending me letters? For what? And then during this class, I thought, let me open this letter. And I called them. I had $5,000 in stock. Eyebrow up again. $5,000. I'd actually been sitting on it and didn't know it. And yeah, you could say it was a coincidence that it happened during that time, but $5,000 to me at that time was huge. Huge. Oh, heck, I'd take it tomorrow if it came. It's $5,000 more than I got, right? That was huge for me. And that kept happening during that class because I was changing my changing my consciousness about prosperity, and I was remaining open, and I was saying, okay, let's see if this works. So instead of saying, oh, that's interesting, I said, man, this is interesting. All I have to do is change my mind. Jesus always talked about transforming your mind, that was the key to everything. And it is also according to money. Money is not evil. Sure, if you make it your whole life, you may end up having some strife because of it, and in that, then there may be evil in your life. But money itself is not evil. People who have more money are not more evil than people who do not have as much money. You know, listen to the messages that you have. Start thinking about, what do you think about people who have a lot of money or have more than you or have more freedom or whatever it is. We all have judgments about stuff. Start thinking about that, because that's a sign about your consciousness about wealth and money and what you deserve. And what you think you can have. The all good tells us that we can have whatever it is that we are willing to say yes to and claim, and allow it to flood in. Tithing is an interesting practice and a beneficial practice if you do it with joy. And what it is about circulation. It's saying that I trust that as I give out, something flows in. There's currency, again, that flow, the current. Tithing is about the current, the flow, and I trust that when I give, I receive. And the more that I give, the more that I receive. It's this. That's what tithing is. And as long as I have tithed, I have been well taken care of by the universe. And I was not just taken care of by the paycheck. And somehow, I don't know if it's a trick of the mind, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just this expanded consciousness that I seem to be able to do more with the same amount of money.
Yes.
Freaky. I seem to be able to do so much more with the same amount of money. That's what's possible when we allow things. So, Quentin, can you give me that post from this first one? So I posted this on Facebook the other day, and it's interesting the comments that came up from it. Never allow, here it is again, money of any kind or amount to pass through your hands without blessing it, whether it is coming to you or going from you. To bless is to confer prosperity or happiness upon. There were some remarks where people were like, let us know what happens. Because I thought, well, I'm going to start blessing money. I had done that for a little bit, but never did it consistently. So I said, I'm going to try it consistently and see what happens. Can I have the next slide, please? So, and this is kind of derived from our celebration of giving that we do every service. Divine love as me blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. I give and receive with joy and gratitude. You can give those out. So I have these postcards. I hope I have enough for everybody with this affirmation on it. And I'm starting a prosperity practice. And every time your money goes in or out, bless it. You don't have to say exactly this if you don't like this affirmation. Make up your own. Compose one that resonates with your heart. And so I had to think, a lot of my bills I pay are auto-debited. And so I thought, okay, what do I do with that? So maybe what I'll do is I get an email every morning. It shows me what my balance is and what's happening, what's come out of my account, and things like that. And so maybe what I'll do is open that email, look at it, and bless whatever has gone out that day or whatever's coming up. And even we have, what do you call it when your paycheck goes directly into your account? Can't think of the word. Direct deposit, thank you. And on those days, I will bless that has happened and bless that money that has just been deposited into our account. And so when you shop, when someone gives you a gift, bless it. And so stop for a moment, get yourself into a head space and a heart space where you are feeling your oneness with the infinite. Raise your vibration. Remind yourself that everything that comes to you and through you comes from the infinite. And give gratitude for it. And bless everything that goes out. Bless everything that comes in. Perhaps when you're walking around your home, look at different things that you have and bless them. Bless them. And where they came from. The same thing, when a friend calls you or you get a hug or something, bless that moment. You got a nice card, or maybe you see a post on Facebook, bless that. Something that makes you smile, bless it. And in the blessing, it increases. It's not all just about the money, it's about the consciousness. It is so not about the dollar bills. It's about a consciousness of prosperity and goodness flowing to your life all the time. I found 2 YouTube videos that I listen to first thing in the morning before both eyes are open. I have them on a playlist, and I do affirmations, prosperity affirmations when I'm half asleep. And I do it again before I go to bed. Because I want to expand this consciousness and see, I want to test this principle again. I know it's worked, but what would happen if I blessed everything that came in and went out? Yes. See? Thought the theoretical eyebrow went up. Yes, you have the ability to bless, to confer happiness or prosperity upon. It doesn't mean that you're saying you're a priest or something like that or whatever. But make it meaningful to you. This is just an example of something that you can say. Tweak it so that it works for you, because it's got to work for you. It's got to feel right to your heart. And so we'll start this practice, this prosperity practice, with blessing our lives. And remind yourself, you may have to say out loud, that the source of all that I have comes from the infinite. The job is almost irrelevant. It's just a channel. And there are a billion channels out there. Start shifting your consciousness. The words that you say. Well, I'm not going to get paid until Friday. Got to wait till then. Perhaps you say that income flows into my life from multiple sources. You don't have to know what they are. It'll be made known to you when you start to affirm it. Or all of a sudden you'll get a bonus or a raise or whatever. Who knows what it'll be? But if you're not open, it can't happen. If you shut the door and you decide, I've only got what I got, then that's fine. Be grateful for that, because that is a good thing. But if you're willing to be open, if you're willing to allow rather than just toil for everything that is good in your life, it could expand things in ways that'll blow your minds. Man, when I knew that $5,000 check was coming in, I thought, oh my goodness. I paid off several bills with that. And then I had more money during the month. And when I started to tithe, and I was grateful that I could. And yes, I still had plenty left over. How was that supposed to happen? Because I didn't think living off of 90% was possible. Or the 70% that I had after Uncle Sam took his, whatever. However you want to do the math. So we're going to begin by being open and affirming that we can bless. Bless what's coming in and going out. Recognize that there is a flow. There's a flow. And you are the one who can turn it off or turn it on. You're free to do whatever you want. That's what I love. You're free to do whatever you want and live this. So if you'd like to open it up, if you're tired of living with the tap turned off, just start to unloosen it. Open your mind just a little bit. Open your heart just a little bit. Say that, yes, sir, you are worthy of every single one of your dreams coming true, of living in a way that you've always wanted to live, to be able to give the money that you want to give when you want to give it, without having it worry about how it will affect your life. Give with joy and gratitude. Receive with joy and gratitude. Everything that comes into your life, bless it and give thanks for it. Everything that you give out, bless and give thanks for it. The fact that you can, the fact that you're willing to, that others will be blessed by what you do, that you will be blessed by what you think and what you change in your consciousness. Bless it all. Bless it all. Let's take this into meditation. So in this moment, we open our minds and hearts to the infinite, the source of all, the source that uses many, many venues, vehicles, funnels, tunnels, to bring financial resources into your life. We open our minds right now, affirming that there are billions of channels through which the infinite can work and prosper us, and that any of those billions of channels are open to us. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is predetermined. Your education doesn't matter. The number of years at your job doesn't matter. The fact that you're retired doesn't matter. The amount in your disability or Social Security check doesn't matter. The amount of your pension doesn't matter. All that matters is the infinite. The infinite is a constant, inexhaustible flow of goodness, which often translates into money. So here and now, we're just opening up to infinite possibilities around wealth. Money allows us to expand our good, to have experiences that we might never have been able to have, to give and to prosper others. To help our families. To give and to help organizations that we are passionate about, whose work that you love, that speaks to your heart. Money allows us to do those things. And so we're open now. So we keep the word infinite imprinted upon our consciousness and our hearts. For the universe always provides, always, always, always. Claim it. Be grateful for it. Believing even before it is in your hands that you have received, and it shall come to pass. And so in our infinite power as unique expressions of the divine, we claim our power to bless whatever is coming into our lives and flowing out of our lives. Yes, we have the power to bless, to confer prosperity and happiness upon everything that flows in and flows out. And so we know and affirm now in this moment that we will remember in each of those instances to be grateful, to be open, to say yes, to say thank you, to be joyous, and knowing that there is infinite good. Infinite good. Infinite good. Infinite good. Inexhaustible supply. We say yes and thank you. Yes and thank you. Yes and thank you. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. And so in this moment of peace and power, we now lift up the names of those for whom we want to pray. And you can say their names out loud. For Diane and Gwen. For the Andrews family, the Pitts family. For Vicky High's family. For Reba and for Eddie. For all of these beloveds that we have named, and all those who have gone unnamed in this moment, but who we carry in our thoughts and prayers during the week. We bless them in this moment, conferring upon them prosperity and happiness in whatever form is their highest and best in this moment. And we know that they too are one with the infinite. That infinite good is at work in their lives in whatever circumstance they are now facing. And so we say yes and thank you for infinite good, for the all good, for wealth of body, mind, spirit, and heart. Amen. So now we recite our celebration of giving together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all the good that I give, all the good that I give and receive, and so it is.
Create good things in your life. Create good things in your life. Bless all that's all around. Bless all that is around. receive the good things in your life. Create, hold space, receive all there is. Kim wrote most of the lyrics of that song just now. So.
What can I say?
Me too.
Let's bless our offering. We give thanks for all the time, treasure, and talent that flows into this community, enabling us to do the work that we are called to do, to spread a message of peace, love, joy, prosperity, and harmony. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. So we just have a couple of announcements. Kind of the first slide, please. So yes, we're in week 1, blessing money, and there's that affirmation again. You have it on your cards. It's also on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and I'll see if we can get it on our website as well, on our donation page. If you have any questions, let me know. And every single week, we'll add something else into this prosperity practice. And so I suggest there are millions and millions of things on YouTube that you could listen to that have affirmations that work for you. If you don't like one, there's 100 others to choose from. So I found one that's 5 minutes long, and I found another one that's 15 minutes long. And, I listened to them, and they work for now. But who knows? At some point, I might change and do something else. And I find myself now, because I've been doing this about 4 or 5 days straight, morning and at night, that those affirmations are coming to me during the day. And when I start to feel a little tension between that whole thing I can't afford coming up, or I'm not worthy, those feelings, negative feelings that pop up sometimes, then I hear myself going back to one of the affirmations in the video that says, the universe always provides. Yes. Always provides. Always provides. And so that's huge for me to affirm that. So pay attention to what speaks to your heart and use that. So we'll do this for week 1, bless money, going in and going out. So our second Saturday's Community Coffee House continues in 2 weeks. Bob Barraza, the son of these two beautiful people, will be here on August 14. Get your tickets now, 7 to 8:30. And we've now worked out that if you want to save even more money, if you like, you can buy tickets for 2 months at a time and save an extra $5. And if you want to come as, it says $40 a couple. It doesn't have to be a husband. I mean, you can come with a friend and just divide it. You don't have to show papers to say, this is my significant other, and we're really a couple, I can prove it. We don't have to do that. So just come with a friend and divide it up. So it's easy. But come see. So August 14 is Bob Barraza. September 11th is this wonderful gentleman. Yeah, it will be a fun show.
Expand on some of the things we've done here, but also just add in more, and I'll probably have a few surprise guests with me too.
See, I told you about Robin that you're used to hearing her here, but experiencing her in concert was so different. Same thing with this man. I've seen him in concert. I mean, this is great what he does here. Oh, concert, it's just other instrumentation, other voices, and it's, oh man, he just lights up a room. So you gotta be here. Get your tickets, get your tickets. And Jerry has an announcement. Come on up.
We are going to start another book study Wednesday at
6:30.
6:30. A Course in Miracles Made Easy. It'll be here next Wednesday the 4th, 6:30.
Just to tag on to that, if you are a past student of Course in Miracles, or you've tried to open the book and found it a little difficult to navigate through, that's the point of this book. Is it's sort of a primer. It boils down to those delicious little nuggets and the flow that is the course, so that it's a nice introductory piece, or in lieu of, if you just can't find yourself wanting to break into that. Were you going to mention the?
One other thing, we're going to read up to page 18, and that will spread it out for the 8 weeks that we're going to be doing this. So for Wednesday night, read up to page 18.
And the name of the book?
And it's called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. It's by Alan Cohen. And I believe, do you have some copies available, or have those all been?
I don't have any extras, but I'd be happy to order it on Amazon. It's $10.
I have an extra book. I'm reading mine from my tablet because it's easier
It's
to.
easier for you.
So I have an
Okay.
extra
So
book
there
if
is
somebody needs one.
Yeah.
And if you need one, I'd be glad to give it to you.
Okay, and you can
Yeah,
order it on
so,
Amazon.
yeah, order them for us.
And if for any reason you don't have time to read the assignment, please don't let that keep you from coming. We're going to
No,
have a
yeah,
great
it's
discussion.
going to be very interesting.
Thank you.
No, mission and vision.
Okay.
Is that you today?
All right, well, thank you, and now we're gonna read our mission and vision. And if you guys will join with me, we are Unity Spiritual Center Saxe,
We are a
thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teachings and demonstrations of unity principles towards the realizations of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us.
Thank you very much for spending your Sunday morning with us. As I always say, your love and your presence is what makes this the most special place to be on a Sunday morning. Thank you very much. Have a glorious day, a glorious week. Namaste, and bless everything coming in and going out. Have a